Hi everyone, Quiveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, we are going to look ahead into the month of August. Not much is going to change, of course, between late July and early August, but over the course of the month, we will start to see more and more differences. Just looking a little into August, just in the first week, here we are as the sun sets. We still have Scorpius, we still have Sagittarius, and we have Saturn already above the horizon once the sky gets dark. Here at just 10 o'clock, and it's pretty dark. As we move into August, we're moving out of summer time. The summer triangle is almost above the south already by the time the sun sets. That's an indication that it's not going to be with us for quite as long. We'll keep pushing forward towards morning time, and here we are, only 1:30 in the morning, and Jupiter and Mars are already up. It's barely morning time, it's just very late at night, and we already have those planets visible in the sky. So as we push closer to sunrise, we're going to start to see those constellations that are coming up as we get into August. Gemini and Orion, for example, there in the morning. So we can see here early in the month, not too much is different. We are seeing a very similar sky. We'll push forward towards the middle of the month. So here we go at sunset, still a little bit of an orange glow in the sky here at 9:30, and we'll push forward. Here we go. We'll say the 12th, we'll say the 13th. So now we've got the moon. The sky is definitely getting darker. The summer triangle is, well, Vega is pretty much right above the south here at 9:30, so that's a good indication that it won't stay with us all night long. Once the moon is out of the sky here, just a little after 10 o'clock, 20 to 11. It feels reasonably early, and the sky is good and dark. This is about as much as you could ask for. Saturn's there nice and prominent, and if we take a look over towards the northeast here, well, there's Cassiopeia, so Perseus must be up around here somewhere, and that's a good thing, because the 12th and the 13th is the night that the Perseid meteor shower will actually peak. So the Perseids are ongoing at the moment. You can see they run from the 16th of July to the 24th of August. I did have a recent video about meteor showers, but the Perseids weren't after peaking at that point. They will be peaking in August. So even though they run for this very long span of time, 12th of August, that's when we're going to get these high numbers. A max of 100. This is predicting 55. Predicting meteor showers is really, really hard. But that's a good amount. Plus, we will have some stragglers from these other meteor showers joining in as well. If you do want to see the Perseid meteor shower, then of course I'd recommend heading out to the countryside. So let's do that as well. Now, we're still here. Let's go a tiny bit earlier, and we may move forward or back a little. Yep, staying on the 12th, just about 10 o'clock. A little bit later, the moon is barely sending any glow into the sky, so this is a good time to look for faint objects. Most of the objects that I talked about in recent videos, talking about using binoculars, looking for other galaxies, they're going to remain visible. We've got that glow of the Milky Way there at 10 o'clock. No need to wait too late, because the sun will already be after going down enough, because we're leaving summertime. We'll keep pushing forward, and now that we're through to almost mid-August, there's the Pleiades before midnight, and just as we pass midnight, there's Jupiter and Mars. Incredibly, incredibly close together. In fact, Jupiter and Mars will be almost right on top of each other. Here, just 1 o'clock in the morning on the 14th. So there we go. There is the biggest planet in our solar system, and probably the most famous, the red planet Mars. Very, very close together. If you had a wide enough field of view on your telescope, this is the kind of thing that you might be able to see. So that close conjunction of Mars and Jupiter is going to be great. They're going to look very, very close together. And reasonably early in the night. We're not too late yet. And of course, as we approach the end of August, we'll start seeing Jupiter and Mars even closer to midnight or before midnight. From the countryside, at least, we're getting a solid view of Orion's belt here over in the east before the sun really rises. But this will depend on having a clear horizon. If you have trees or buildings or a hill or anything like that, Orion is going to be quite low in the sky, even as it reaches its highest here in August. So we can see here the sun's glow is really starting to come up. Orion's belt would probably be disappearing already if you're in the city. It's definitely starting to disappear here in the countryside as we come up to 4:30, and it's still not particularly high in the sky. But we can see the planets and Saturn. They are after getting nice and high in the sky. And there's the summer triangle, just about still with us. Yeah, those 3 stars are still just about visible before they hit the horizon here in mid-August. So let's keep pushing later. Let's go just there for now, the 21st. So we can see those constellations are after getting even higher. We've got Sirius there, clearly visible in the morning, and Mars is after sort of falling behind Jupiter. Jupiter is now going to continue across our sky, while Mars, the Earth hasn't caught up with Mars in its orbit yet, so it's not going to behave the way you might expect for most planets. And here we go. We've got Deneb and Vega, but Altair is gone just before all of the stars disappear, just before the sun rises. So the summer triangle is indicating to us that by the end of August, we're definitely leaving summer, and I'm sure most of us would agree. Now, just over here, we have not a conjunction. I think I may have missed it a little bit. We're too late in the morning. So let's move back just a bit, keeping our eye on the moon here, which is just a little bit past full, yeah, 97%. And there we go. There is Saturn, completely behind the moon. Really behind the moon, not visible at all. It is a full occultation, not just a conjunction, not even just a close conjunction, a full-on occultation visible there at about 20 to 4 in the morning. And what a view this is. We've got the moon blocking out Saturn, plus those planets and the Pleiades, the Hyades, and Orion all in the sky. So, if anything, a little bit of an improvement over the late July sky. As we move into the late August sky, it's going to look really, really nice. That occultation has occurred there with the moon directly blocking out Saturn. You can see as we move across here, the moon will end up above the ecliptic and above Mars and Jupiter. So we won't get an occultation of them as we come into the very end of August. So here we are, a very tiny crescent moon. It's still nice and dark even as we start coming up to sunrise. There's Mercury popping back at the end of August. Mercury is technically visible above the sunset as we come to the end of July as well, but it's just so close and the angle is so tight, we don't really get to see it here in Ireland. That angle's loosening up here as we leave summertime. So we've got our crescent moon, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn. All there. All we're missing is Venus, so hopefully we'll get that and joining into the sky in the near future. If we take a look back over here, yeah, Altair is definitely out of the sky. In fact, yeah, Altair will be rising, or well, setting just about there at 4:30, so definitely before the sun actually rises. So let's backtrack. We've had a good look at the morning sky, and of course the morning sky is very interesting as we come through August, but we're going to move back towards sunset, so we get to see that sunset sky, the early evening sky, right here at the end of August, a whole month in the future, just to see how different things are. Now, of course, the moon is practically new at the end of August, so it's not going to interfere too much. There we go. There's the Milky Way coming out before we even hit 9 o'clock. So we've had very long days over the course of the summer and very short nights, but now that that's changing, it's going to feel like it's happening very, very quickly. It's going to feel like we're losing daytime and losing brightness quite fast. Wait until we get into wintertime and how long the nights will be then. So there's Saturn up with the glow of sunrise, at least from here in the countryside, before the Milky Way even appears. This is just a little after 8 o'clock. We'll come back into the city. Of course, some of us will be stargazing from the city, and that will make a difference to what you see in the sky. We'll go somewhere around here. So Saturn, absolutely still visible there as the sun is going down. We've got the Plough, the Big Dipper, practically above the sunset. There's Arcturus in Bootes or Bootes. We've still got Scorpius barely. It'll be setting quite early, and there's the summer triangle. We'll move through the night now that we're back into the city. And as we move through, you know, there would be the glow of the Milky Way there if there wasn't too much light pollution. It's not really going to be visible. We can see that the square of Pegasus is nice and high there above Saturn, which would put the Andromeda Galaxy reasonably high up here as well, which is great. The higher these things are in the sky, the easier you can see them through a telescope, the less they'll be extincted by our atmosphere. And we can see there Jupiter and Mars. Here we are. This is 12:30. Let's bring it back just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit before midnight, and there is Mars and Jupiter. Now, of course, observing them, especially with a telescope, through all the glow of this atmosphere, if you're in the city, there's probably going to be buildings in the way. It's going to be quite difficult, but it's still reasonably dark for hours to come. So we can wait for Mars and Jupiter to get significantly higher in the sky before we even need to start worrying about the glow of sunrise. So even if you are in the city, even if you are suffering with light pollution, those planets are now so far from the sunrise, you're still going to be in with a really, really good chance of seeing them. We can easily see 3 planets here with the naked eye from the city at about 2:30 in the morning. And if we keep pushing forward, just barely visible. Now, of course, Mercury, with how low it is in the sky, unless you've got a clear view, it might be difficult to spot. But again, if you're at the coastline, if you're up on a hill, up on a tall building, then we've got 4 planets visible to the naked eye. And if you know, then Uranus and Neptune are there as well. 6 planets, all visible at the same time. Plus, what I'm assuming is a lovely crescent moon. Let's take a quick look at that. Indeed, it is a very, very narrow crescent. So this is all going to be visible once we get to the end of August. And if you'd like reminders, if you'd like updates, if you'd like to be told again when the Perseids are peaking, then make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I will almost certainly have a video about the Perseids and maybe another quick look at that occultation once we get into August. If you enjoyed this video, then please do like the video. If you'd like to read some of this information, you can head to my website, creebeanscontent.ie. And regardless of anything else, I hope that I'll see you back here next time.